My psych professor asked if we'd heard of Pavlov. I said, it rings a bell. No one laughed. I'm too witty for this class. Today, I'm going to recap a 2017 action fantasy film called Attraction. In Moscow, Julia is feeling isolated as she mourns her deceased mother, and her father Valentin, an army worker, is seldom around. At school one day, her teacher discusses an upcoming meteor shower. While the classmate Gleb eagerly responds to questions, Julia is more engrossed in a chat with her friend Svetlana about an upcoming concert. But Svetlana is hurt when, post-lessons, Julia opts to go with her pal Tyoma. At her house, Julia's plea to witness the meteor shower is denied by Valentin, citing safety reasons. An irate Julia phones Tyoma, who persuades her to defy her father for this rare event. Soon after, Tyoma drags her to join the assembling crowd. Suddenly, a reckless motorist in a sports car nearly triggers a crash. Tyoma, in a fit of anger, damages the car and confronts the driver, but the situation diffuses when Tyoma's group intervenes. Svetlana appears and offers a rooftop view of the shower from her building. Julia and Tyoma head up, but soon Tyoma, growing restless, pulls Julia into a room, leaving Svetlana to enjoy the cosmic event. Concurrently in space, an extraterrestrial ship voyages through our galaxy. As the meteor shower kicks off, a meteor collides with the vessel, damaging it and sending it towards Earth. The Russian defense misjudges its trajectory for a city hit and fires missiles, but they fail. The vessel smashes into Moscow, razing many structures. The impact devastates Svetlana's building, almost causing Julia's fall, but Tyoma saves her. The aftermath sees the military evacuating citizens. Tyoma desperately carries injured Julia till police aid in her hospitalization. As the army strategizes, a group including Valentin and a researcher go for initial alien contact. Positioned with snipers for security, they encounter a robotic alien. Though Valentin grasps the unfamiliar tongue it speaks, the scientist is overwhelmed with fear. Shortly after, Valentin communicates to his superiors that the extraterrestrials intend merely to mend their vessel and depart. Some troops advocate for obliterating the spaceship preemptively, but Valentin sways them to restrain, reminding them that their initial aggression instigated the disaster. Global media broadcasts relay the event as Julia regains consciousness in hospital. She discovers Svetlana's demise through her found earphones. The television reveals her father spearheading an initiative to encircle the spacecraft with a barricade. Given clearance to depart by her physician, Julia is met by Tyoma outside. As he's about to escort her home, Valentin intervenes, expressing gratitude to Tyoma for rescuing Julia, yet pointing out the peril was a result of Tyoma's invitation. En route, Julia notices public dissent against the aliens depicted in graffiti, but Valentin remains tight-lipped. At home, she's informed that her grandmother Lyubov will oversee her care, with Valentin occupied as usual. Despite the recent catastrophe, schools resume and the usual bus is replaced by a tank. At school, a memorial for Svetlana dampens Julia's spirits further. While her educator emphasizes the significance of extraterrestrial contact, Julia, in a fit of anger over perceived army inaction and blaming aliens for the tragedy, storms out with classmates in tow. Later, Julia covertly retrieves her father's firearm and visits Tyoma's gang den. There's initial tension seeing a girl there, but Tyoma reiterates her status with him. The group is busy disseminating anti-alien content online. Seizing the moment, Julia proposes a vengeance mission for Svetlana, gaining the gang's approval. They navigate an old structure leading to the exclusion zone. Tyoma instructs Julia to stay put due to hazards, but she disregards this and reaches the remains of Svetlana's flat. As the gang discovers a peculiar shield-like artifact in a store, Julia, amidst her late friend's possessions, encounters an alien. In a panic, she fires at it, but the bullets are ineffective against its armor. In her escape attempt, she almost plummets from the building, but the alien swiftly intervenes to save her. In an ephemeral instant, Julia believes she glimpses a human visage within the armor. The extraterrestrial endeavors to convey something, but the gang intervenes, assaulting the being until it tumbles into the adjacent shop. On inspection, they ascertain the metallic form to be a protective exoskeleton, with the bloody marks revealing a humanoid entity beneath. Julia spots the alien feigning death amongst a heap of bodies, and she chooses to guard this secret since he had rescued her earlier. The team departs with the exoskeleton in tow, leaving an enigmatic object at the scene, which the military subsequently retrieves. After secreting the armor at their hideaway, the gang disperses. However, sleep eludes Julia, prompting her return to the ruins of Svetlana's home. She locates the alien, gravely wounded and bleeding profusely. After wrapping him in plastic, she transports him using her vehicle. By daybreak, she enlists Gleb's assistance, owing to his medical knowledge. Gleb confirms the alien's humanoid physiology, suggesting a blood transfusion as crucial. Exploiting a connection through her father, Julia secures a discreet hospital room. Sneaking in, Gleb's analysis indicates a matching blood type with Julia, enabling a transfusion. Overwhelmed, Gleb faints, leaving Julia to complete the procedure. The revitalized alien momentarily awakens, bestowing Julia with a metallic wristband before losing consciousness once more. They shelter the alien in Julia's garage, with Gleb pledging discretion, driven partly by his evident affection for her. Back home, Julia is astonished to discover the bracelet's ability to manipulate water during her shower. Concurrently, military personnel discern the shield object similar aqua-controlling capabilities. A fisherman is taken aback to find a local river, proximate to the spacecraft, utterly depleted. Military experts hypothesize the vessel is utilizing Earth's water for reparations. This sparks apprehension amongst authorities, who perceive it as an act of aggression, prompting Valentin to passionately plead for additional time. Later, Julia returns to her garage to find the alien, now named Hakon and fluent in Russian, awake. He divulges his departure from the spaceship in search of an apparatus named Shilk. Julia lends him a tire and subsequently evicts him, resulting in Gleb chiding her for her lack of compassion. As Hakon attempts to penetrate the quarantine sector, guards apprehend him, all under Julia's watchful eye from a distance. Concurrently, Tyoma's group scrutinizes the exoskeleton, realizing conventional tools are ineffective against it. In fact, any inflicted dent self-repair upon contact with water. An accidental activation of the exoskeleton results in excruciating pain for one member. A heated debate emerges over the armor's fate, leading to a consensus of handing it to the military. With Valentin preoccupied, Tyoma's call goes unanswered. Opting for a direct approach, Tyoma and his crew head to the base, only to encounter an irate mob protesting water scarcity. A hasty act from a protester ignites tensions, and the soldiers, suspecting Tyoma's gang, resort to aggression. Tyoma instructs his team to flee, opting to remain and pacify the situation. His efforts are futile, resulting in his detention. By the time Valentin addresses the situation, Tyoma's trust in the military is shattered, prompting him to withhold the exoskeleton. In custody, Hakon discerns from a broadcast that the army possesses the Shilk, his sought-after object. Despite the police's bafflement over Hakon's lack of fingerprints, Julia leverages her lineage to secure access. She successfully secures Hakon's release, but her attempt with Tyoma meets resistance due to his disdain for the military. Departing with Hakon, she learns of the Shilk's significance in facilitating his journey home, prompting her to seek her father's intervention. At the base's entrance, their access is hindered, leading Julia to fabricate a pregnancy tale. The news propels Valentin into a flurry, suspecting Hakon's paternity. Seizing the moment, Julia pilfers his access card during a comforting embrace. Armed with the card, Julia keeps Valentin occupied, spinning tales of her fictional pregnancy, while Hakon embarks on his quest for the Shilk. Donning a scientist's attire for camouflage, he infiltrates the lab, effortlessly unlocking the shield-like relic to procure the Shilk. The staff's belated realization of Hakon's true identity triggers an alarm, but by then, Hakon has already reunited with Julia in the parking zone. Valentin, in his protective paternal fervor, commands a trooper to escort them home. Upon his release, Tyoma rendezvous with a friend, devising plans for an uprising. They fortify their vehicle, prepare incendiary balloons, and load up on baseball bats. Reaching out to Julia, Tyoma expresses remorse for his earlier eruption and invites her to participate, though she declines. Back at her residence, Hakon reveals the need to convey the shock to his vessel, but Julia advises a midnight venture to evade sentinels. Hakon encounters Julia's canine, restoring its impaired eyesight using the shock, attributing such feats to his race's near-immortal status. When Lebedev stumbles upon them, Julia masks Hakon's identity as a foreign acquaintance. They later dine, with Hakon mimicking Julia's every move, leading her to dupe him into savoring a fiery dish. Television news broadcasts identify Hakon as a person of interest, prompting Julia to shield the revelation from Lebedev, hinting at a romantic relationship with Hakon. Suddenly, Valentine's arrival, accompanied by a military entourage, instigates a hasty escape. Regrouping with Gleb, they watch Tyoma's viral video rallying civilians against alien and military oppression. Acquiring a fresh wardrobe, Hakon is drawn to a concert Julia remembers, speculating it as an ideal refuge. Amidst music, Julia imparts dance lessons while Hakon, reciprocating, immerses her in visions of his stellar homeland. He divulges unintended contact with humans and the military's assault on his craft, warning against proximity to his vessel, lest it self-destructs. Their intimate exchange doesn't go unnoticed, alerting Tyoma to Julia's perceived treachery. Navigating through the quarantine zone later, they traverse an uninhabited structure. Observing Julia's smoking habit, Hakon indulges, seeking to fathom the intertwined essence of love and mortality. Overwhelmed, Julia seals their moment with a kiss prior to Hakon's departure. Out of the blue, Julia receives a call from Tyoma, intending to end their relationship. However, his gang has traced the call and ambushes them. As they assault Hakon, accusing him of usurping Tyoma's love interest, he refrains from resisting due to his alien code. When the shock slips from Hakon's grasp, the gang seizes it. Distressed, Julia pleads for its return, but Tyoma's anger leads him to strike her. Witnessing this, Hakon retaliates, incapacitating the assailant swiftly. As one member attempts to shoot Hakon, Julia's intervention results in another gang member's fatal injury. Guards approach due to the commotion, prompting the gang's flight. Though possessing restorative powers, the shock can't revive the deceased, resulting in Hakon and Julia's detainment. Tyoma stirs public sentiment by accusing the alien of murder and incites a massive riot. Enraged Muscovites unite, with Tyoma invigorating them with a fiery discourse, rallying them to defend Earth and avenge their brethren, also distributing weapons. A lone educator's attempt to offer clarity goes unheeded. The passionate mob storms the quarantined area, initiating chaos. While the military initially resists using lethal force, it emboldens the rioters to breach defenses. Tyoma, rejoining his hideaway, dons the exoskeleton amidst substantial discomfort. Concurrently, the spacecraft dispatches AI-operated exoskeletons to stave off intruders. At the military facility, Hakon extends apologies to Julia for implicating her and seals it with a kiss. As Valentin discerns the significance of the shock, Julia unveils Hakon's truth and holds him accountable for precipitating events, alluding to the military's involvement in downing the ship. Valentin's skepticism about Hakon's allegiance is cut short by the Prime Minister's directive to quell the mob with force. Horrified by the escalating situation, Julia contemplates drastic measures, coercing Valentin to facilitate their escape via an army vehicle. While Valentin mobilizes his squad to manage the tumult, Hakon and Julia make for the spaceship, only to be obstructed by an armored Tyoma. Their vehicle is wrecked, and Julia loses consciousness. Left with no alternatives, Hakon engages Tyoma. Despite his extraterrestrial origins, Hakon struggles against the might of the exoskeleton. Just as Tyoma seems poised for victory, a revived Julia uses their vehicle to incapacitate him. Next, Julia hastens to join Hakon, while Tyoma emerges from the damaged exoskeleton, its arm missing. As Valentin signals the AI-controlled armors of their non-hostile intentions, Tyoma remains undeterred, seizing a rifle to target Hakon and Julia. Observing the peril, Valentin directs his forces to detain Tyoma. The other extraterrestrials swiftly move the injured Hakon and Julia onto the spacecraft. Pursuing them inside, Valentin witnesses Julia being placed in a restorative chamber. While the duo recovers, the ship's AI elaborates that aliens are forbidden from Earth visitations due to its volatile societal atmosphere. Yet, witnessing the genuine affection between Julia and Hakon, there's potential for this policy's reassessment. After her recovery, Julia bids Hakon farewell, observing the spacecraft ascend and dispense surplus water. Subsequently, the quarantined region becomes accessible, and life resumes its regular course. Reflecting on the events, Julia contemplates how an extraterrestrial displayed greater faith in humanity than humans do in their own kind, pondering the implications for mankind. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.